So we're going to do a song, Shawn and I.
Big surprise.
And it's called We Are the Boat. It was written by Lori Wyatt and recorded by many musicians that you know, Pete Seeger and Peter, Paul, and Mary. The Spanish words in this song are followed by the English translation, which you see on the slide. A reminder that we're all sharing one world together.
Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The stream, it sings it to the river sings it to the sea. The sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The boat that we are sailing on was built by many hands. The sea that we are sailing on, it touches many lands. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navega en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. So with our hopes we set the sail and face the winds once more. And with our hearts we chart the waters never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navega en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. Thank you.
And now our sermon begins. When Shawn puts his guitar away.
So we're all in the same boat, as the song says. Why did we choose this title for our sermon? We chose it because our sermon, we wanted to remind you that we are all connected to one another in multiple different ways in the universe. Our actions have ripple effects far beyond what we see. As Unitarian Universalists, we recognize our connectivity through the seventh UU principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. In other words, we're in the same boat.
And we will be providing music, stories, poems, photos and interesting quotations regarding our theme of we're all in the same boat.
So, welcome aboard.
All right, we need the change. Okay. Now, this is a photograph of Earthrise, and it shows Earth and part of the moon's surface. It was taken back in 1968, and it was during the Apollo 8 mission. And it's been described as the most influential environmental photograph, and you can see why.
Next slide. Oh, so
yeah.
got
No,
it. We
that's
got it. Yep. This is a photograph of 2 of the 4 astronauts who are going on the Artemis mission in December of 2024. On top is Christina Koch, and on the bottom is Victor Glover. Christina Koch was inspired as a child by the Earthrise photo, and it was the reason she became an astronaut. She expressed her desire to bring an image back like that hopefully helps unite humanity and shows that you can do great things when you come together.
And Victor Glover, which is the bottom photograph, he spent his time on the International Space Station. And he has stated, we are on the ship together. And that's all the life we've ever found. It makes you want to take care of that planet, which takes care of us. And it makes you want to take care of each other. You see the world as it is. So from space, you see the world as it is. There are no labels, there's no legends. And when you see the world as it is, you see there's no division. There's no natural division, but we're all on this together and we're one people. That was a quote by him.
Well, there's a picture of William Shatner after his historic flight into space. The voyage left him filled with grief, an overwhelming sense of sadness, and a newfound appreciation for the beauty of the earth. He stated, "It's just a tiny little rock with an onion skin air around it. That's how fragile it all is. It is so fragile. We hang by a thread. We are just dangling, but we are dangling together and we are entangled with one another."
And did you know there's a name for what Shatner felt? It's called the overview effect. Because like Shatner, many astronauts have come back after seeing the Earth from space, and they're more convinced of the interconnectedness of humanity. And when they travel to space, they gain a greater understanding how precious and delicate the Earth is. Many astronauts report that they were aware of it before, but when they come back, they have a greater awareness of climate change and global warming.
Shatner, as well as other space travelers, have returned to our planet with a greater distaste for war and violence and a desire to do something to help improve life back here on the planet Earth. They return more eager than ever to be a part of the solution so that humanity may one day live long and prosper.
And this is a slide of the universe, and we sometimes forget how small we are.
This photo is of our Milky Way, and Earth is marked by that very tiny little dot in there. Carl Sagan has stated, "The pale blue dot, to me it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known and the only home we have."
And the next slide shows you, there's a telescope called the Webb Space Telescope, which is capturing amazing images of the universe, galaxies. And so in each galaxy, they found trillions of stars and trillions of galaxies, actually. And I wanted to say, did you know that all of us are 93% stardust? And I'm going to explain that through a poem that Nikita Gill wrote. We have calcium in our bones, iron in our veins, carbon in our souls, and nitrogen in our brains. 93% stardust with souls made of flames. We are all just stars that have people's names.
It is amazing. We are all made of stardust. We have shown you a perspective of what Earth looks like from space, and we are connected to it with the stuff that we are made of, stardust.
And now we thought it would be interesting to cover a few theories that show our connectiveness to each other and the planet. The first one is called the butterfly effect. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but basically it means that we're so connected that one small occurrence can influence a much larger complex system. It evokes the idea that a small butterfly, just a little butterfly flapping its wings, can actually affect the weather. The butterfly effect is an important reminder that even our most minor actions can have far-reaching consequences. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of daily life and forget that what we do or what we don't do matters. But it's up to us to be more conscious of how our actions shape our world and those around us. The butterfly effect reminds us that we are responsible for making positive changes in our lives and the world at large. And as Dalai Lama, this is a quote from Dalai Lama, just as ripples spread out when a single pebble is dropped into the water, the actions of individuals can have far-reaching effects.
So now we're going to jump into science. In 1935, Albert Einstein published a paper on quantum entanglements. In simple words, quantum entanglements is a part of the whole quantum physics landscape, and it invokes the idea that two particles are linked together in a certain way. No matter how far apart they are in space, even if they are millions of light years apart, they are still connected, and a change in one is mirrored in the other. Albert Einstein called this spooky action at a distance. So if you want to know a little bit more about quantum entanglements, I'm willing to bet Ron Roth could explain it all to us in about 10 minutes. I hope. The scientific concept shows you that we are entangled together at a particle level. There has been a Nobel Prize given out for physics for people who have tested this and proven that it exists.
And when we accept entanglement and connections that we have to each other in the universe, it provides us with clarity and motivation to improve the world. So many famous people have used their time and money to help make big improvements to life on this earth. And we thought we'd to name a few. There's Paul Newman. We've all heard about his food products. He uses all the money that it receives from the sale of the products to support children, their families, and their communities. Danny Thomas was the founder of St. Jude's Hospital, whose mission is to advance cures for pediatric catastrophic diseases through research and treatment. And no child is ever denied treatment based on religion, race, or a family's ability to pay.
So the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation focuses on changing poverty, improving health and education to improve the quality of life for billions of people on this planet. Next slide. LeBron James has provided financial support very quietly for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the Children's Defense Fund, and many other organizations. He has also supported the fight against systemic racism by donating to organizations such as Black Lives Matter, Color of Change, NAACP Legal Defense Fund, and many, many more.
Now, this slide shows you many quotes, but I'm going to read the first one that Judy Kaiser provided me with. It's from Mother Teresa. There are no great acts, only small acts done with great love. And one of my childhood heroes, in fact, I wanted to meet her so badly, Helen Keller, and she said, her quote is, "I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can."
So I'm kind of shameless. I steal quotes from multiple places. One of my favorite characters from Lord of the Rings is Gandalf the Wizard. He said, "Some believe it is only great power that can hold evil in check, but that is not what I have found. It is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay, small acts of kindness and love." Basically, what it's saying is we are never to underestimate the power of small acts and their ripple effects. Small acts can change a person's life as well as yours. And now we are going to highlight some people who have made a difference in the world that are not famous, just ordinary people.
Well, Carol Burnett is pretty famous, and she's entertained millions of people all over the years. But that would not have been possible if it was not for the kindness and generosity of an anonymous benefactor. In fact, a businessman saw Burnett in a play. It was a local play. And he asked her, why wasn't she in New York studying acting? And she told him that she couldn't afford the tuition or living expenses. Well, after learning of her difficulties, he offered her a $1,000 loan, and he didn't know her, to make the cross-country trek to New York City. But the mystery man gave the interest-free assistance on 3 conditions. First, you must never reveal my name. Second, you must use all the money to go to New York. And third, if you're successful, you must promise to help others out. And the rest is history, or her story.
In 2018, Greta Thunberg, at the age of 15, started skipping school and spending her Fridays outside the Swedish parliament to call for stronger action on climate change by holding up a sign that said, "School strike for climate." What started as a one-person protest has grown into an international movement and is supported by more than 1 million students in 160 countries. Her rise to fame made her a leader in the activist community, and her influence on the world stage has been described as the Greta effect or the butterfly effect.
And I'm going to tell you one last story about not a famous person. His name was Hody Childress. He was an Alabama farmer, and he wanted to do something special for his community. So he made arrangements with a local pharmacy in his town. And each month he said, "I'll give you a $100 bill to help pay for medicine if someone cannot afford it." And he stipulated that the donation be anonymous. Well, it was only after his death that the secret came out, as well as many touching stories of all the people he helped in his community, including a woman that needed to buy an EpiPen for her son, but could not afford the $600. Hody's family has continued to make this $100 monthly donation in his name, and other people have also participated because they were inspired by his kindness. The money has grown and continues to help people out in his community. We hope these examples have shown you that acts of kindness, no matter how small, can have a significant impact on the world around us. And when preparing for our sermon, I like to collect things and quotes. Well, we took a road trip up to Appleton, Wisconsin, and on the highway, we saw these billboards. And we have to go back a slide. No, those are. So it's from an organization called the Foundation for a Better Life, and it's called Pass It On. And they currently have campaign, which features celebrities offering inspirational messages to people everywhere as a contribution toward promoting universal values. And I saw one in Pompano, the Dolly Parton one. Dolly Parton says, "Find the good in everyone." That's a good one. Kindness. Oprah, let's see. Nelson Mandela said, "What can one person do?" Inspiration.
Be a force for good, encouragement, Oprah Winfrey. Even Mother Nature has an agent, stewardship, Jane Goodall. These signs remind me of our UU values. Famous Unitarian Ralph Waldo Emerson stated, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, and to have made some difference that you have lived and lived well." In closing, we know we're preaching to the choir here. We as Unitarian Universalists have already recognized the interconnected web of all things, which is stated in our 7th principle. In fact, we here at UUFBR strengthen our connections and entanglements through the sharing of joys and concerns, sharing the plate, political action to improve the lives of others, and participation in environmental events. Even something as simple as coffee hour enhances these connections and entanglements to one another.
And we hope these ideas that we've put forth today have given you a better understanding of how connected we are to one another. We also hope we inspired you by sharing other people's acts of kindness, big and small. And I also want to remind you that you have the power to do good on a small scale. Your actions are able to inspire others who will spread those actions to their friends and family and can eventually have a big impact on the world, with or without your awareness of it. We need to remember that we're all in this together, and we have a shared responsibility